Welcome to Roots and Branches of Lehi, the podcast where we get to know the faces, stories, and lives that make up our community. I'm Ryan Harding, and I started this podcast as a way for us all to connect with the people we live alongside. Growing up in a small town, I learned that connections go beyond blood. They're built through shared experiences, friendships, and the moments we celebrate together. Each week, we'll sit down with someone new from Lehi to share their unique story, their passions, and what they love most about living here. So whether you've been here for years or just arrived, join us as we deepen our roots and reach out to our branches one story at a time. Welcome, Jennifer and Aspen, to Roots and Branches of Lehi. Excited to have you both here. So this will be good to get to know you guys a little bit better and kind of see what you've been doing and all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and introduce you guys first here. So Aspen, let's go ahead and start with you, and then we'll go to Jennifer here.
Perfect. I am Aspen Kahoush. I am the first runner-up. My platform was Beyond a Bandage, first aid.
Okay, awesome. And you grew up in Lehi, or where are you from?
Grew up in Lehi.
Okay.
I've lived here my whole life.
Okay.
So
And you just graduated too, I think you said?
Yep, just graduated from Lehi High School.
Okay, awesome. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Awesome. I'm Jennifer Connolly. I am the current Miss Lehi. My platform is called the Front Porch. It's about building a sense of community and social connection to try and help reduce the amount of people who are experiencing loneliness.
Okay, awesome. And you grew up here too?
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised, okay. And tell me, schooling and stuff like that, did you graduate then?
Yeah,
Okay.
I graduated in 2021 from
Okay.
Skyridge,
Okay.
and right now I'm at UVU.
Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Well, so talk to me about the moment, for both of you, that you were crowned Miss Lehi and that you were crowned first attendant. How did that feel? What was that like? And how long had you been working towards this, I guess,
Do you want to go first?
Yes, I'll start. I was so starstruck. This has been my first year competing in a pageant.
Okay.
Never done anything like this before, and so when they called my name, I was like, "Me? What?" But no, it was amazing, and
Just a great experience.
just great experience.
Sure,
Loved
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
On
good.
cloud 9.
Sure. I'm sure you were. What about you, Jennifer?
This was my 5th pageant. It was my 3rd time competing for Miss Lehi. And when I got crowned, they had said contestant number 1, and I didn't even hear my name. I was on cloud 9. I was gone. I was out of it. And the very first thing I wanted to do was hug someone, so I immediately turned to Hope, who was standing next to me, and I just clung on to her, and I don't remember much after that, to be honest.
Sure. Now, is this something you've always been, how long have you been in this, pageantry and stuff like that? How long have you been?
I'd say I've been watching since I was like 8.
Okay.
I did not compete as a teen, but I've been competing for 3 years now. Yeah, since 2022.
Okay. So good amount of time.
Yeah.
So this was obviously something you'd worked towards for a good amount of time.
Yes.
And stuff. Okay. I guess, throughout that time, tell me some of the things you've learned from that experience. What have you learned about yourself, I guess, through that experience?
Yeah, I kind of learned all the things I can do, and that I do have time in the day to do more things.
Yeah.
During Miss Lehi week, I felt so busy, and then the following week we had roundup, and then I looked back on Miss Lehi week, and I just thought I had so much time, and I did not take advantage of that. So
Sure.
I've kind of learned that I can work a lot harder than I have been.
Okay. Love that. What about you, Aspen?
What I've learned about myself. I feel like I've learned all of my strengths and weaknesses,
Sure.
and been able to work on those weaknesses, and been able to enjoy those strengths and
Sure.
be more confident in those skills.
Okay. Awesome. Well, so let's back up a little bit, I guess. Tell us what a lot of people may not know actually what goes into this, but like with Miss Lehi and the first attendant and stuff like that, what are some of your responsibilities? What do you do with that, I guess, kind of thing. So I'll let either one of you answer that. But
Well, for the basics of winning and being in the royalty, we are in a lot of parades, and we've got a lot of events, and we basically get to make kids smile by seeing a princess with a crown. It's my favorite part. But besides that, we have our community service initiatives, which is what we sort of dedicate our reign to.
Okay. Perfect. Anything you'd add, or she covered it?
I think she summed it up perfectly.
She got it all. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Okay. So then you mentioned a little bit about, but tell us, you had a platform or cause that you ran on. Tell us about that, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, so mine was called the Front Porch. Well, is called the Front Porch. It still exists. I'm still doing stuff with it. But it's to build social connection and a sense of community.
Okay.
And I got into this because during my gap year between high school and college, I felt super lonely. All I did was go to work and then come home and stay in my room.
Sure.
And I felt like I didn't know how to talk to people. And so I started listening to podcasts on how to talk to people.
Love it.
And I decided that this needs to be what I do for the rest of my life.
Okay.
And so that's what I've been doing. And I've been trying to spread that and get people out of their comfort zones and come to community events.
That's awesome. And has that been going well?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, okay.
I've been really busy.
Yeah,
so
good.
It's been great.
Because how long ago did you, so what's the time frame? Like how long have you been Miss Lehi?
Yeah, I became Miss Lehi in June.
In June, okay.
Yeah, I've been working on my community service initiative for 2 years now, though.
Okay, okay. Because so that's something important then, I guess. So you're doing some of those things before you even.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yes.
like, hey, now I'm Miss Lehi, now I can start.
Yeah.
Before that, you're doing a lot of things ahead of time then, I guess.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of elbow grease that gets put into it.
Lots of
And
prep.
we
Yeah.
have our paperwork that
Yeah.
we submit to judges, and part of that is talking about your community service initiative or platform.
Sure.
And you get to put in there what you've been doing,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of shows judges that you're willing to put in the work once you get the crown.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Not that you only do it after you get the
Yeah.
the reward, right? Kind of thing. So, okay, and go ahead and with yours, Aspen. So what were you
Yes.
doing beforehand? And yeah.
So my platform is
Yeah.
Beyond a Bandage, the importance of first aid. And so I grew up in a healthcare family from a young age. I wanted to be a pediatric nurse. So I thought, what a better way to start on educating myself for the future, but also helping others.
Yeah.
So I chose teaching first aid. So a lot of my prep was becoming certified in these skills myself and meeting with our first responders and different things like that, sharing tips and
Sure.
making the subject seem a little bit more approachable and not as scary. And so that was my prep work. And then as far as things go now, my role is just kind of to support Jennifer and be there to help her. So
does your platform kind of meld into hers then? Since she won, you
Yeah.
kind of help with her what she's looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, she helps me out a lot.
That's good.
I
That's
love
good.
it. I
That's
love
good.
helping. She's the best queen. Thank you.
So do you guys get to work together then? Like how often do you guys see each other and get to work together? I guess.
Fairly often.
Yeah.
It used to be about once a week.
Okay.
Now that school is starting though and city events are tapering down, we don't
Yeah.
see each other as much.
Sure.
But
Okay.
it's a lot.
But sure, when a lot of events are going on, that's when
Yeah.
you're okay. Makes sense. So any as far as deciding your platform and stuff like that, any influence that why did you pick that, I guess, kind of thing, as far as what was the influence? I mean, you mentioned, I guess, your family and stuff like that. What where did that come from, I guess?
I actually bounced around a few ideas on
Yeah.
my community service initiative because I decided if I was going to do anything with the Front Porch that it's going to be after I graduated college and when I had more time to myself. And then I just told myself, like, no, I'm going to do this now. I do like my other ideas, but this is what's most important to me, and it's impacted my life a lot.
And have you seen any experiences so far with having done it, like anybody that stands out where you've been able to, oh, hey, this was a cool experience, I got to help this person, or this, any personal examples, I guess? I'll put you on the spot, and if not, that's fine too. So
Well, for me personally, at the most recent parade, I was walking back to the Bluffdale Park where they were having all their events at with some of my teen girls.
Yeah.
And they had kept walking, but somebody had talked about, like, oh, there's the queens, and I'd asked if they wanted a picture.
Yeah.
And it actually made their day because I found out that was relatives to the first runner-up for Miss Bluffdale.
Oh, wow.
And she didn't get to say hi to them before running off and changing,
Yeah.
and that kind of made their day. And so me knowing that I can go out of my way to say hi to someone and be the one to approach someone else and know that I can make their day by doing that.
yeah, I love that. Again, that role that you have, a lot of people, really want to see you and take a picture with you, right? Do that kind of stuff. So you're part of a much bigger whole, I guess,
Yes.
right? Because that crown will get passed to somebody else next year, right?
Yep.
And so, but no, that's super cool. So let's talk about Lehi then. You're Miss Lehi. So what do you like most about Lehi? Why do you?
I like the amount of diversity we have here.
Uh-huh.
We have small town, and then we have big tech, and we've also got some stuff over at Thanksgiving Point.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's so many different people you can talk to. But I think even with the amount of different people we have around here and the different values they have, we can still be able to have the city feel like home.
Okay, love that. What about you, Aspen? Do you like Lehi?
Oh, love Lehi. I love our community and how everybody is just so close together and connected. I think that's something that's very unique to Lehi City.
Sure. Okay.
So I love it.
And
Lehi's the best.
It is the best, right?
Yes.
It is. As you've gotten involved in the community, both of you now, right? You're obviously a lot more involved. Has anything stood out to you? Anything interesting, like, hey, I didn't realize that about the community, or I didn't, I don't know, just anything stand out to you both about now that you've been more involved in the community? Something that surprised you?
I've felt like with my community service initiative with the Front Porch, I already knew a fair amount of the events that are happening in Lehi.
Yeah.
But now I've realized just how many there
Sure,
are, because
sure.
I'm always getting invited to them. There's a few of them weekly.
Yeah.
And it's just opened my eyes to how much is happening in Lehi.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. Aspen, anything stand out to you? Anything surprise you?
I think how welcoming everybody was with the new royalty. I was a little bit nervous. I was like, I don't know how people are going to react,
Yeah.
especially for me being so new to this. Most of the girls are very seasoned.
Sure.
And they were so welcoming and accepting the parades. I'd hear people cheering for me and stuff. And it was just such a cool experience. So loving.
Yeah.
So just welcomed us with open arms. And
Good.
It was
Good.
amazing.
Do you get to associate with many people outside of Lehi then with your position? I mean, you mentioned Bluffdale and stuff like that, but do you or is it mostly people in Lehi?
We interact sometimes with other royalties, but we haven't interacted with other cities, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. And what about any upcoming events? Are you excited for any? Hey, I'm really looking forward to this event that's coming up.
Yeah. I just invited Aspen to this, just barely actually. There's an event that's happening on September 1st, Labor Day.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's a historical committee or if it's the Arts Council, but they are putting on a car show and an artist show, and
Okay.
it's going to be at the Legacy Center. We also have a 5K for special needs that we're going to go help with and hand out medals for. So I'm very
great.
excited for
Okay.
that.
Excited.
Yeah. Really. Again, just the diversity of what you're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of different things. Okay. That's awesome. So going back to the pageant and stuff like that, what was one of the most challenging parts of that pageant? I mean, I'm assuming it's not an easy process, and there's obviously a lot of people that want that position, right?
Yeah.
My association with pageantry is probably just Miss Congeniality, Sandra Bullock, right? watching that movie. But tell me, what are some of the challenges, I guess, of that? So.
Well, I've never actually seen Miss Congeniality. Yeah.
I got you.
Okay, good. Okay.
I get the Hollywood perceptions, but I think a lot of girls, their hardest struggle is getting out of their head and being present. It's
Sure.
a very scary thing to do.
Yeah.
And you're critiquing how you're walking, you're critiquing how you're talking. And so sometimes it feels like you're critiquing your personality, but you have to remember that you're not critiquing your personality, you're just polishing it.
Sure.
And to remember to not lose yourself in the process.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, love that. Aspen, anything anything that was challenging for you about the process?
I feel like for me, it was a lot of little things. You're reminded a lot of, hey, this is what you need to fix. This is what you need to do better.
Yeah.
And it's not coming from a place of they're trying to tear you down. It's we want you to be the best version of yourself.
Sure.
So that's a little bit intimidating. And I agree with Jennifer, just not getting lost in all the craziness and,
Yeah.
those little things and taking time to enjoy the experience
Yeah.
because such a cool experience to have.
Good. No, I love that. And I think that's probably good advice to anyone is, the balance between taking criticism, because, we all want to improve, right? We all want to be better, but not getting so depressed with it, right? You know,
Yep.
not, oh, I'm worthless. You know, it's
Yep.
like, no, that's not true. We're trying to improve, but
Yeah.
you know, so I think that's probably a lifelong skill
Yes.
that'll pay off in a lot of different ways for you. So, anything surprise you about the pageant process?
Well, this is my 5th one, so I think Aspen's more equipped to answer
Okay, all right.
this.
Anything surprise you,
Yes.
Aspen?
I was surprised at how many resources they provided us and how many practices they provided us. I was under the impression that I was like, okay, we're going to throw you on stage and you're going to compete in all these areas and
Yeah.
we wish you luck. And it was not that at all. There was lots of interview prep and dance prep, and I had a lot of people helping me with my evening gown walk and my fitness walk. So
Sure.
you come very prepared, and I didn't expect to be so prepared. I feel like Lehi maybe is better at preparing the
Oh,
girls
they
than some
definitely
other
are.
pageants. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
That's
that
awesome.
was very surprising to me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, shout out to those that are in charge of it. So I guess
Yes,
they did
the
good.
best.
So,
We love-
you know, you kind of answered this a little bit, but we can elaborate a little bit more. But how has this experience, you know, for both of you, helped you grow both, you know, professionally, spiritually, emotionally? You know, any of the above attributes, I guess. But how does this help you just personally, I guess, in that regard?
There's a lot, to be honest.
so
I feel like
much.
it's a really life-changing experience. It's helped me refine who I am as a person and like define myself and create a personal brand to make
Yeah.
sure that I am, you know, similar across the board in everything I do. But I've also gained a lot of talking skills.
Sure.
I was not a great talker beforehand. I still feel like I'm not. But lots of stuttering, not
Sure.
a lot of eye contact, and through a lot of interview practice, I've now become Miss Lehi, and now I get to do it every day.
And you get to make even more practice
Yeah.
with it, I guess, right? So that's awesome. Aspen, what about you?
I love the service that we've been able to do. I have always been told when you're serving others, you don't have time to feel down and sad about yourself. And I think that's so true in the positions that we're in. We're always serving, we're always trying to help others. And so it really fills your bucket and makes you so much happier.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the skills that we've learned. Interview skills, I feel more prepared to go into these job interviews and college interviews. Public speaking, just holding yourself in a very classy, poised way that makes you maybe stand out more than someone who hasn't had the same training, I guess,
Yeah.
as we've had.
And how did both of you get into this? I mean, what was this something? I mean, you mentioned 8, you know,
Yeah.
right? So, but you know, what is the process that somebody would take to get into this? Even, I mean, do you have to apply to even get in, or is this just anybody that wants to participate is able to participate? Give us the kind of those details. Like if somebody's listening, like, hey, I wouldn't mind doing that. What's the process? How do they do that?
So I grew up watching my sister compete in pageants. She's now a
Okay.
director of what's called an open pageant.
Okay.
But in order to compete, you have to be a resident of Utah. And if you want to compete for Lehi, you either have to be a full-time worker, full-time student, or live here. That's generally how it is for the locals. You can also check on the Miss Utah website, and they have a whole list on there of all of the pageants that we have in Utah, and you can find out if you can register for those or not.
Okay, perfect. Love that. Did she miss anything?
I don't think so. As far as once you're able or you know that you can compete, there's paperwork and workshops that you'll start going to get you ready, and they go more into depth about what you're actually getting into.
Yep.
And then from there, they're just getting you ready, preparing you. It's a pretty time-consuming thing. I mean, but if you get crowned, of course, it's time-consuming, but the preparation, there's a lot of, like, I would say we had weekly things
Yeah.
going on
Okay.
to help us prepare. So
And is this how many? What's the pool of people that are in this then? Like how many people are participate?
This year is 8. It's
Okay.
typically 6 to 10, somewhere
Okay.
between there for Lehi.
Okay. What advice would you give to other women, young women that are looking at maybe going into this? Anything that you would advise them to do to prepare, or you know, or would you say, hey, don't do this, you know?
I would say take your first year as a learning experience. Most girls don't win their first year, and so don't get too knocked down if you don't win. And know that next year you're going to be more prepared, and that's going to be honestly a lot easier because you have a lot less groundwork you have to lay out. And so just be prepared for that.
Okay. Love that.
I would say I encourage everyone to do it that can or that is interested. I was very intimidated and scared by it. And at one point you would have asked me, like, hey, do you want to run for a pageant? And I would have been like, are you joking me? Me running for a pageant? But just choose a topic for your platform that you're very passionate about. I mean, I chose something that I'm going into so that I can really speak from the heart about it and you can tell my passion for it. And don't get caught up in maybe what you think the pageant stereotypes should be and what you should wear and how you should dress and how you should talk. And just be yourself, be bold. If you want to wear a crazy evening gown because it suits your personality, wear a crazy evening gown. They want to see the true you, not who you think they want you to be.
Yeah, judges are looking for authenticity, and they aren't looking for a cookie cutter pageant queen. So just come as you are.
Yeah, perfect. Love that. Is there a minimum age to be able to participate in this?
I think it's like 17 and a half. They do it based on birthdays. It's so that by the time you go to state, you'll be 18.
Okay. So what are your plans for the rest of your, your reign, I guess, right? So any plans, anything specifically that you're hoping to accomplish, I guess, besides what you've already kind of mentioned and stuff? But
yeah, I'm hoping to host my own event. I really want to have a band night, and I want it to be for teens. While I was preparing for Miss Lehi, I asked a lot of people what event would get them to come to a city event. And lots of the teens said a band night. And, they hadn't conversed with each other. They didn't hear each other's answers. And so I was like, okay, well, obviously this is popular, so I need to get that done. So I'm excited to do that. But I'd also really like to start a podcast, actually, which is kind of funny because we're doing one right now.
That's right. Take some notes, I guess, right?
But I want to have an everyday conversation podcast where I just sit and talk to people so that people who feel socially awkward can get ideas of how to answer questions, how to ask them, how to interact with someone, to help them build their own self-confidence, to get out of their room and go talk to people.
Love that. So as far as, going into life and career and stuff like that, anything that you think you'll take from this as you, continue to go into your career and become who you are meant to be?
Well, besides the skills we've talked about, like interviewing, public speaking, I feel like I am wanting to go into sociology or communication, some type of career in there. And so I feel like it's huge for me to be able to talk to people. And it's built up my work ethic as well. It's sort of forced me to do things that I wouldn't regularly do. And so I'm very grateful for that.
Good. Love that. What about you, Aspen?
Like we mentioned, we have lots of interactions with little kids, and where I'm wanting to go into pediatric ER nursing, I have learned lots of good skills and conversation starters and things that can maybe take their mind off of the critical situation that they're in. So I feel very blessed to have those experiences with the kids.
Good. Love that. Where do you see you guys, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
I will probably be out of college, just barely. So I'll just be starting my career. I am deciding if I want to go more of the events route or if I want to go more of the reporter route with my career. So I'll either be going one or the other direction. I'll be starting that up. But since I haven't been a full-time student since starting college, I've actually been in college for 3 years. I only just got out of being a freshman credit-wise. And so I'm very grateful for the scholarship opportunity that I get out of being Miss Lehi. So now I can be a full-time student. And it won't take me 8 years to get out of college. So I'm very excited for that.
Good. No, I think that'll be great. I love that. What about yourself?
Where I see myself in 5 to 10 years. Ooh, hopefully married. I will be out of college. I'll be an RN. I will be working at Primary Children's and hopefully just getting to serve others still, bring light to others, be a role model to others.
Love that. Okay. Well, I think you both have very bright futures, so I'm sure you'll do
Thank you.
many good things. We'll see you around Lehi a lot and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, but and I love what you're doing. I mean, I think you're both doing some great things and getting to know the city better, right? You know, like you said, with all the events that are happening, and really, there's just it's a great city that we're a part of, and I think there's a lot of great people here, and you're getting to know a lot of them and help them, and I love learning about these different things. That's part of the reason I've started doing this podcast, right? It's just to get to know all these things. And I've been surprised I shouldn't be surprised, but I've been surprised at just how many good people are doing a lot of good things, I guess is what I would say,
Yes.
right? There's just a lot of good people doing good things here.
Yep.
So, as we kind of wrap up here, did we cover everything that you wanted to cover, I guess? Is there anything that you're like, hey, well, forgot to ask me about this or that, or anything like that?
No, but everyone should go follow the Front Porch Utah
Oh,
on
absolutely.
Instagram or TikTok.
Perfect.
Yes,
Okay.
and Miss Lehi. Go follow
Yeah,
Miss Lehi
that'd be
to
great.
see all of the cool things that we're getting to
That
do.
you guys are doing. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. As we wrap up here then, any last messages you would share just to people in general in Lehi here? Any, departing message that you would give people?
I'd say that Lehi is amazing and all the people in it are amazing, and we have a very nice community here, and I hope that people can get more involved in it as we keep growing.
Okay. Love that. Aspen?
I would just say never take living in this amazing city for granted. We are also blessed to have each other in such a strong, close-knit community, and hopefully we'll get to meet more of our city throughout the next little bit. And yeah, we're just so blessed to have this opportunity.
Yes,
Good.
very excited.
Good. Well, thank you, both of you, for coming on, and good luck with the rest of the year. So, with all that you guys are doing. So,
Thank you. Thanks
again,
for having us.
do many
Yes.
good things. So, thank you. Thank you for joining us on Roots and Branches of Lehi. I hope today's story helped you feel a little more connected to the people who make up our community. Remember, every person here has a unique story, and together, we're what makes Lehi feel like home. If you know someone who would be a great fit for this podcast, please fill out the form in the show notes so we can reach out and schedule an interview. We'd love to hear from you. A big thank you to our sponsors, the Work Harding Home Mortgage Team and Play Harding Nightly Vacation Rentals, for supporting this show and helping us bring our community closer together. Until next time, keep growing those roots and reaching out to your branches. Take care.